Hello, this is Anbuff76, and today I would like to look into a couple of things which will help us to recreate portion of a scene from the animation I posted 2 days ago. I'm talking about the walking at dark animation with lamps, volumetric lights, and so on. So those things are dupliframes, array modifiers, and curve modifiers. I put those descriptions on a PowerPoint just in case some people would prefer to read them instead of hear about them. Uh, but anyway, let me quickly read them out for you. So dupliframes is a method used to duplicate an object for a certain number of frames or for a certain number of times in this context along a path. One object can be duplicated by only one dupliframe, so we have some limitation here. Um uh, the array modifier is used to create an array of copies of the base object. The object can be duplicated on any axis, and the multiple array modifiers can be applied to an object. So this gives a quite powerful tool to play with the base object. And the last one, the curve modifier, is used to deform a mesh or an object along the curve, and this is this is very useful when it comes to creating things like streets, like chains, ropes, and stuff like that. So having said that, let's go back to Blender, and I think this is right time to start playing around. So press delete to get rid of the default cube. We will not need this at this time. Press 7 on the numpad to go to the top view, and we need to add a curve and model the curve first. So press Shift A, choose curve, and then choose path. You can also choose Bezier curve, but I prefer paths. So press R Z90 to rotate the curve on the 90 degrees on the Z-axis. Press Tab to go into the edit mode and select the last point of the curve. Uh, I'm saying the last because the curve is pointing to the y-axis, so this will be the first point on the curve, and this is the last one. Um, so press, having with the last point selected, press E to extrude it, and let's model some nicely shaped curve, smoothly shaped curve. Let me go for this one and this one, and yeah, like that. In case you have modeled a little bit too sharp, or your curve is modeled in a little bit too sharp way, you can always select the individual point, press G, and move it a little bit to fine tune or adjust the curve. Okay, I think we are done here. Then press Tab to go to exit the edit mode, and let's add a plane which will model our street. Press Shift A, choose Mesh and Plane, and let's scale it for the x-axis for I think 2 times. So press S, X, 2, and Enter, and we can do so. Press S, X, and let's extrude it a little bit more. Good. I think this is fine. Um, I was saying that dupliframes is the method used to duplicate an object along a path. So uh, somebody could ask, can we use dupliframes to model a street? Before I will answer, and the answer would be no, let me show you the example. So in order to use dupliframes, you need to create relationship between the objects. So right click on a plane, right click on a path, and then press Ctrl P, and you can set the parent to object or follow path. Both in this case will do exactly the same. So I will go for object, then right click on a plane, go to the object tab, and from the duplication select frames and deselect speed. And as you can see, the reason for that is our curve have 100 frames, so we can change it, but still the results are the result is far away from something we would call a street. So this is just the example that the Dupliframe is not the best method to create the street. Select the plane, go to the object and set the duplication to none. We can leave relationship, so we don't have to change the relationship between plane and the path. It's irrelevant. So having our plane selected, we will apply a array modifier and then curve modifier. So go to the modifiers tab and choose array modifier and change the offset from the x to y because our curve is pointing to y-axis. So set 0 for x and then set 1 to y, and we could adjust the number of times and set it to whatever how long our path is, or we can make our life a little bit easier, so we can set or we can choose the fit type to fit curve and then select our curve, and the plane will be duplicated as long as our curve is. This is dynamic, so if I will change the length of a curve, then the plane will be duplicated as long as the curve length changes, or according to the changes to the curve length. I find it a little bit easier than having fixed count or fixed length. The fixed count is exactly what it says, so it creates as many copies as many as it creates the same number of copies as you specified here. Um, Sorry for my English. And the fixed length creates the or makes the curve as long as the length you specified. I think the fit curve fit perfectly in this example. So what we are missing is the array modifier. So press Alt and choose. Sorry, we are missing the curve modifier. I'm sorry for that. So choose curve and make sure that this will be a second modifier. If it will be first modifier, then it will not work. So what you need to do is you first need to uh, mm, apply the array, or let's say you need to duplicate the object, and then once it will be duplicated, you need to apply, or you are able to deform it along the path. So from the object, choose our path, and here we go. Our street is modeled. Very sexy. Press Ctrl S to save it. Blender likes to crash from time to time. Goody. Next thing we have to do is we need to add something which will work as a lamp. So I haven't prepared that, so let's model that very quickly. So press Shift A to add a cube. Press 1 on the numpad to go to the front view, and press Tab to go to the edit mode. Press A to deselect all of the vertices, and I think going to Z, going to the wire mode by pressing Z will help us. Press 5 to go to the 5 on the numpad to go to the orthographic view, and we are ready to start modeling something like a street lamp. Press B to select the top vertices. Press G, Z, and move them down on the Z-axis. Then press E to extrude for a little bit, then S to scale it down. Again, press E to extrude it. Let's make it that high. Then press E again to extrude a little bit more. Then press A to deselect everything. Press B and select those two or those four vertices. Press E to extrude again. I think this is fine. Then I just moved my view, so in case you don't know how to do that, press Shift and then press middle button on your mouse and then move mouse. So it will move the entire viewport, or let's say it will move the scene in a viewport. Okay, but I think we are off topic. So press B, select those four vertices. Press E to extrude a little bit, and then A to deselect. B to select again those four vertices, E to extrude, and again E to extrude a little bit more. Press S to scale it, E to extrude again, S to scale it. Okay, I think our um, I don't think this will be inappropriate to call it a street lamp, but I'm not good at modeling. I think for our example this will work perfectly. I'm sorry, I had to stop for a second, so let's continue. Uh, let's place the lamp on the left side of the street. So press 7 on the numpad to go to the top view. Press G X to move on the x-axis, and place the lamp like here. Press 1 on the numpad to go to the top view, front view. I'm sorry, and press G Z, and you can press the control and hold it and move the mouse up, so you will place the lamp directly on the top of the street. um, and when I look on the lamp, I think the size, or let's say it's a little bit too short, so let's press tab to go into the um, edit mode, and let's fix it. So press deselect everything, press Ctrl R, and left click. You can move to place the cut anywhere you want, and then press left click again. Press A to deselect everything, press B and select all of those vertices. Press G, Z and move it up. And now I think the size of the lamp is much better. Goody, so we need to place the light inside of the lamp. So right click and select it. Press G to move it, and move it right in the middle of the lamp. In the meantime, let's go to the world and change the horizon color to black, and let's see how the render will looks like. So press 0 on the numpad to go to the camera mode or camera view, and then let's render. Okay, so we need to move the light a little bit out. So press G, Z, and move it down a little bit, and let's render it again. Okay, it looks quite fine. Um, Goody. So right now let's add a plane which will work as our ground. So press Shift A, add a plane, and press S to scale it, and let's scale it for 100 times. Let's render it now. And yeah, this looks pretty awful, so we need to pretty awful. This looks really bad, so we can fix it very easily. So select our street, go to the press 1 to go to the front view, and let's solidify it. So go to the modifiers and add another modifier which is called solidify, and let's set the thickness to 0.015, and let's move our street a little bit up. So press G, Z, and move it really for tiny, really for a bit, so we can make the view bigger. So we will move for it. We just need to move it a little bit. I think this is enough. When we will render it now, it looks better. We just need to set it right color. Okay, and this is the time to add another lamp, which will be volumetric light. So press Shift A, choose lamp and choose spot, and move the spot to the same location your first lamp is. I think this is fine. Press 7 to make sure it is in the middle of the lamp. Yes, it is. So let's fine-tune the settings of the light. So press to the object data. Make sure that the shadow will be set to the buffer shadow, and buffer type will be set to the classic half. Turn the halo and change the intensity of a halo to 0.2. You can change the size of the samples and the number of samples, as well as the number of buffers. I will go for 9, um, and let me go for 5 samples, and let's adjust the clip start. So the clip start is this line. It shows where the halo will start. So I think it needs to start more or less where the lamp is, where the edges of the lamp are. Sorry, so go for 0.1, and let's change the energy, or let's leave the energy as it is for now. Let's just adjust the other things. So not press, change the distance to something like this. So the um, end of this cylinder will be just below the ground. Change the clip end to similar value, like 8.5, and make the size of the spot, or change the angle to something like a 65 degrees. When we will render it, it will looks like this, and I think it's not bad. So we can adjust the other light settings. So set 10 samples and set soft size to 1.2, for example. And so this will make the shadows looks much more better. When we will render it, so really sharp, it's soft, and it looks pretty cool in my eyes. Okay, I think we are ready to start duplicating the mm, the lamp and the lights along a path. So press 7 to go to the top view, and we need to have a path. So we can copy the existing one by pressing Shift D, and let's move it something like here. And the the Dupliframes is the only method to duplicate lights, because you cannot apply RA modifier to any of the lights, so you would have to set them manually. But Dupliframes gives us the possibility to duplicate the lamp and the lights in the same place. The Dupliframes doesn't give us the possibility to properly control what will be the distance between the objects. We can just say that the objects will be duplicated a certain number of times along the exact path. But for setting up lamps and stuff like that, I think this should be enough. And that would be the only automated way to duplicate the lights in exactly the same place as the lamps would be. If I would go for array and curve modifier for a lamp, then I would have to manually set the lights, which is some extra work. So having said that, let's start duplicating this. Uh, so having selected the lamp, press shift and right click on the path, press Ctrl P and select the object. Make sure that you right click on the lamp and then go to the object data, choose frame, deselect the speed, and we just need to adjust the number of times the object will be duplicated. So press right click on the path, go to the object data and say 5 should be 5 should be fine. Yeah. Then right click on the lamp and do on one of the lamps and do exactly the same. So uh, shift right click on the path, press Ctrl P to make the relationship, select the lamp again, go to the object data, frames, set speed off, and I just realized that we need to adjust one setting. So the end have to be the same number as you set the number of frames on a frame. Otherwise, the last object will be duplicated for 100 times. I found this out when I was playing around with some physics, when I duplicated some cubes. Um, then when and they were rigid bodies. When I played the animation, the last cube exploded because it was multiple rigid bodies embedded in the same spot. So let's set it to 5. And let's do that for our lamp. And select again, let's select another light and go to the object, deselect the speed, set 5. And if we will render this now, press 1 to camera mode. And before we will render that, let's we need to remember that when it comes to the dupliframes, the first object, which is the child one, the object is not being rendered. So if I will render this, I will just see the light instead of my lamp. So we need to place the camera properly after the first object. So I think so go to the top view, select the camera, press G to move it, and let's set it here. Press 0 to go to the camera mode, press Shift F to go to the free camera, and let's place it like that. Press G and lower the camera a little bit, but not too much. And let's give it a render, a test render. I think we need to change the angle, so let's make this a little bit up, and it looks fine. So what now? What is left is let's set some basic textures to the ground and some basic textures to the street. I took my textures from the cgtextures.org. I will put the links in my under the comments in the comments under the video. So add a new material, go to the textures, add a new texture, and choose in the type, choose image or movie, and then open and select the image you want to use as the texture for this street. And I will go for asphalt close-up, and for the ground it will be the other one. So set the material, uh, create a texture, choose image or movie, and go for soil sand. I think we might want to set the intensity of specularity down, because we don't want the light to be, we don't want to have this light reflection on the street nor on the ground. And we might add some bump mapping for the ground. So select geometry normal, and let's set it to 0.2, and let's give it a render. Let's see how it will looks like. So we might want to play with some. We might set it to. We might play around with the colors, like set the brightness a little bit up. Okay, I think this is fine. We will anyway do some basic compositing to make this scene mm, a little bit better, so to say. Um, the last thing I had on my scene was those little bags flying around the lamps. So for now, I will just set one. I couldn't find a way mm, to dupliframe the particle emitter, so I had to do that manually for every lamp. And I used the void particles. So let's go to another layer. Let's create some object which will be our particle. So uh, press Shift A and add the, for example, UV sphere, and let's scale it on the x-axis. Okay, it will be something like that. We don't have to go into much details because those objects will be really small. Uh, anyway, we just need to set the size low, and give it a nice color of, for example, dark yellow. Why not? Let's set the name of the sphere to bug, and go to our first layer, press Shift A to add a plane, and press 7 to go to the top view, and we need to place the plane under the second lamp, and make sure that it will be next to the light. Then what we have to do is we need to add the particles. So click on the plus to add a particle system. Uh, Set the number of particles to 20, and you can set the start frame to -20, uh, and frame to 1. So the particles will be emitted when uh, before the animation will start. So they will be you will have already 20 particles when the animation will start. Set the lifetime to as long as your animation will take place. So for example 250 in this case. Choose random, and would we just need to change the particles to voids. But before we will do that, let's uh, deselect the emitter and make sure that the render will be set to the object, and choose our object, which is bug, and also set the size to something like 0.01 or 0.015. This should be fine, and make it voids, and let's add a target for a void. So press Shift A, then add empty, and do exactly the same thing as we did for plane. So press 7 on the top view, Z to go to the wire mode, and locate the empty under the lamp, something like this. and right click on the plane, then add a target to our particles. So choose goal, and in the object choose empty. So the void particles will mm, will follow the certain rules. So first of all, they will try to separate, then they will try to be to go into the flock, and then flock means they will try to group, and then the goal is they will follow the target. And I would say let's change the logic a little bit. So first they will try to separate, then uh, reach the goal, and then flock. So if I will play the animation, you will see that the particles are flying around the goal object. And yeah, if I would try to render this now, so press Shift A to hold it at certain frame, press 0 to the camera view to make sure that we will see the particles. Yes, we will see them. So press render, and as you can hear, so I think we might want to adjust a little bit lighting. So uh, select the lights, and I have some difficulties doing that. First of all, make select the spotlight and set the energy to because the scene is way too dark, so I think we need to set it to 1.2. Then select the normal lamp and set it to, I would say, 1.5. And let's try to render it now. Okay, the scene looks a little bit better, but it's still kind of kind of dark. So let's set the energy to 2, and we also can adjust our goal object to go a little bit under the lights, so like here, and let's go to frame 1. Let's select this plane so we could see the particles. Press Alt A to run the animation, and then stop it here. Let's render. So the particles uh, they are lighted up a little bit. Okay, I think we can just add some basic nodes to turn this light to something more yellowish. So select the node editor, select the compositing, choose use nodes, and select the backdrop. So add our input, which is render layers, and then choose output, which is the composite. Oh gosh. And then output viewer, connect the dots, add first of all add the filter, blur, and let's choose it to fast Gaussian to 15, and add another one which is mix, and connect the dots. So we go like this, like this, and then this one, and let's set the mix, the FAC to 2.4. So we have our glowing effect, um, and let's add the color balance, and we will play around with yellowish with the gain. So turn the gain, or let's say make the gain to be a little bit yellowish, and make sure that you connect dot to the compositing, and then let's try to render it. And this is more or less oh, I had a little bit different lighting on my scene, but I don't remember how I said it. I think this is anyway a good example of how to use uh, but anyway, the lightning wasn't part of this tutorial. I wanted to show you how to use RI and curve modifier as well as Dupliframe. And as you already hear, my voice is getting, sorry, excuse me, my voice is getting a little bit down, so I think it's the right time to stop. I hope you took something out of this tutorial, you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed. And in case you did or you didn't, leave me a comment, and um, talk to you, see you next time. Thanks for watching, and bye.